Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to the Love in Dubai show, where we go through all of the big trending stories in Dubai. Today, we're talking about COVID and how Dubai has led the world's return to normality.
We'll also be talking about a family in Dubai who were robbed of cash and jewelry worth 1.1 million dirhams.
The Dubai woman who has won a 50k battle after her Botox went wrong.
And also, the Dubai Comedy Festival kicks off today. So more on that later on the show, along with our conversation with the director of the Dubai Sharks Rugby League, Dylan Hartley, who will be talking all about the future of the sport.
And for anyone who tuned in yesterday, you'll know that we had the incredible Orla Carberry on the show. She is a woman on a mission. She is in a passionate campaign to save lives after her daughter went through the most horrific, nightmarish experience you can possibly imagine. She nearly drowned, and Orla was there and practically saved her life. So she's moved on to make this campaign called Aoife's campaign, and it's all about water safety. And she very kindly gave us some of these books, which are available to buy in Spinneys, but we want to give them away on the show. So anyone who is interested in water safety, it's for all ages, obviously, but these books are particularly for kids. Just do a little wave emoji, maybe on the show right now.
Just type in wave, and whatever emoji comes up, comment that.
And we will give away this.
This is so cute. So it's a pack that comes with a water watcher, wristband, a magnet, and a small little manual, which is very important if you have kids. Over here it says ABCD and the ABCDs of just water safety. Mm-hmm. It's such a cute pack.
It's such a cute pack, and these books are really, really amazing. Aoife's doing like workshops around the country, but also these are available in Spinneys, like I said, and they're in English and Arabic, and super cute graphics. And like, we forget how crucial water safety is, but I think we were both so shook from that chat yesterday.
Very true. That too, with summers approaching, kids going into the pool. Everyone loves swimming, especially children. So it's so important that they themselves are aware of the safety that all the safety precautions they need to take themselves. And it's a cute interactive book. So they'll have a lot of fun while reading it, understanding it, and of course, filling it out.
So if you want it, let us know right this second. Just put a little wave emoji wherever you're watching. Facebook, by the way, we see you. We love getting your comments in. We love reading them before, during, and after the show. You guys
are a little wave?
You guys are an interesting bunch. So
no.
Oh, girl.
What are you doing? Like the Mexican wave.
A Mexican wave is this.
Oh, okay. What is this called? And then you take it.
Did I do it?
Yes, you did it.
I thought I was going to not do it. Oh, I can see my reflection.
You did it.
Can we just not do it in time?
No, you have to come with. Okay, so I'm going to start it and you have to finish it, or you start it.
Okay,
Start with that hand.
Oh, I'll start it. Good.
Almost.
If you want to wave with us and take these home, Aoife's campaign, amazing. Well done to Orla for getting this out onto the shelves, and we want to give this away. So wave emoji. Before we get into our top stories, one video that's going viral, but it's literally the catchiest tune I have heard in a long time. You heard it, you know it, you love it.
Oh my God, we love it. It was posted on our Instagram yesterday, and oof.
Let's just let the music do the talking for once.
What does that mean?
Yola. Oh.
Nah.
How do you want this? Oh, no. So, content creator, Nazra.
I'm so shook. He didn't ask us to be a part of that video.
Could you imagine if we were asked to be part of
بعد ما أعلن نائب رئيس وزراء لبنان سعادة الشامي عن إفلاس لبنان ومصرف لبنان، علق مصدر حكومي إن التصريح ده نابع من مفاوضات مع صندوق النقد الدولي وطلب لبنان لمساعدته، فبالتالي التصريح ده مش إعلان رسمي لإفلاس لبنان. كمان صرح حاكم مصرف لبنان رياض سلامة إن اللي بيتم تداوله عن إفلاس المصرف المركزي غير صحيح، وإن برغم من الخسائر اللي تعرض لها البنك إلا إنه لسه بيقوم بدوره. في نفس الوقت رئيس الحكومة اللبنانية نجيب ميقاتي علق على كلام النائب بإنه كان يقصد السيولة المالية بس، وإن الكلام اتقص من حوار تلفزيوني كان كامل ليه.
I love it.
Okay, guys, if you want to get on Casey's good book.
Thank you.
If someone just walks up to you randomly and gives you that, say
That's
yes.
it. We talk. Where Dubai has led the world's return to normality. So we've seen the numbers. This is coming from Arabian travel market, where we're seeing the city kind of come back to normal, and now it's actually been tweeted.
Of people at the airport, people just honestly dying to travel and explore the world, and the tourism returning to the country. Like, everything is so evident, like you can see it, it's visually evident. So it's amazing. And plus the Arabian travel market is just buzzing.
It's booming. We've had some great stories. We talked about, of course, Emirates leveling up with their fancy premium economy seats, which actually His Highness was testing out. I hadn't seen those photos before. But, you know, these exhibitions, I find that unless like you're fully involved, you're kind of unaware of the scale.
Exactly.
But I've been down at a couple, and it's just people travel from all over the world to kind of showcase here in Dubai, and it becomes a hub. So we have become a hub of future innovation in the travel industry. And this is just one, and they just kind of happen. And around the world, people are aware, and, you know, we just kind of like, they just happen, and we're so used to this. But at the same time, it just shows that, you know, Dubai is kind of always this thriving, buzzing sphere or globe, which I think there's just like a magnet to.
Honestly, like Dubai, it's a snow globe in itself. Like, it's just so apart from the rest of the world.
Her bubble.
And you realize this when you travel. You know, when you go to other countries and you see how they're coping with COVID, their arrangements, and then you compare it to Dubai or the UAE, every time you're just amazed and impressed by all the steps that this country and the leadership here has taken to make sure everything is, first of all, safe, everything is advanced, everything is, you know, just at par. But what is the one thing about COVID? I mean, not COVID, like the COVID precautions you would follow even way after COVID is over?
I am now, more so than ever, great question, so conscious of touching things in public.
Yeah.
I'm not a germaphobe in any way. I'm probably like on the other side of it a little bit. Like, I just kind of, I'm not worried about bugs, or like, I'm not worried about tabletops
I know that.
or anything.
I know that. Once I saw a mosquito and Casey was out for the kill with her bare hands.
You gotta get him.
Oh my God, I was shocked.
Mosquito, he's gonna get me first. But you know, when I go out to restaurants and I'm touching the table, like, oh, now I need to sanitize before I eat.
Yeah.
Very aware. So thank you, COVID, for bringing some sanitization into my life. Silver lining. What about you?
I think just masks. I mean, in public areas, no, but in like confined spaces, I would definitely still keep my mask on, just knowing people's air particles are there. Just like the mask stays on.
So true. I was sitting beside someone recently and he just kept coughing. And I was like, I know we're back to normal, but you just need to not be out in public coughing. I've never been more aware, and it was kind of like for let's say for like 2 hours, and just like not be in here still. But
some people have that condition,
and this is the thing, and people have especially prolonged COVID, where you've had COVID, and I'm not saying the person has COVID, but it's actually instilled that sense of fear in me. So now I've jumped from the positive to the negative, but I've now become a lot more aware of other people's ailments and how it could affect me and my family.
And that too, other frivolous reasons for just like protecting yourself from someone else's bad body odor, it just helps.
Oh yeah, true. I love the mask, and also the masks hide they also encourage acne, but then they also hide any number of sins and facial giveaways, which we've discussed about.
Honestly. But yeah, I was sitting on a plane like when I was traveling, the person next to me was smelling. Thank God for my mask. Thank God. Praise the Lord. But we move on to our next story. A family in Dubai were robbed of cash and jewelry worth 1.1 million dirhams. Now, local publication Khaleej Times reported of a horrific robbery that started with 6 men entering a villa in Dubai's Jumeirah Village Circle, which is JVC, from the top floor. And they came in all armed with knives and a hammer. The robbers then proceeded to assault the 4 family members and stole cash and jewelry worth 1,198,000 dirhams.
It is a scary story. The victims were tied up. They received death threats from the intruders, who went ahead to steal 450k cash, 2 watches worth 348k, and a diamond ring with 400k, and then they fled the property.
So the Dubai police then arrested 4 out of 6 of the suspects, and one suspect was arrested from Dubai International Airport, while 2 others were arrested at Sharjah Airport, and the 4th suspect was caught in Al Tawar. The last 2 criminals are yet to be apprehended, and the 4 caught had admitted to their crimes, and the police soon after retrieved and returned the stolen goods back to the victims. It is so scary, and this just reminds us, like, if you're staying in a villa, the importance of having just high security, like for your own peace of mind.
True. I mean, these stories are few and far between. We're so lucky to live in this city, because we know that in this case, it's happened, horrific and scary, but already 4 out of the 6 of the intruders have been found by Dubai police. They're under arrest, and I have no doubt that the other 2 will be as well.
Yeah.
We're lucky that these stories rarely happen, but that does not mean we should be complacent. I always think I'm so lucky I can walk the streets at night as a woman. I'm so lucky I can not fear staying in my house at night as a woman. However, that doesn't mean I shouldn't lock my door.
Exactly.
And because we do talk about all these amazing things, like, oh, in Dubai, you don't need to lock your door if you live in an apartment building. My friends, when we were teachers, because there was like 3 or 4 of us, we'd lose our keys, so we just didn't lock our door. Madness. Absolute madness. Like, we still need to remember that, although that we're in a super safe city where all precautions are taking place, we have an incredible security force looking after us, it's still a massive growing population where something can happen. So you just need to be as safe as you can be. Always be vigilant.
And it is, our thoughts and prayers are with the family. Hopefully they weren't they didn't face anything too harsh. Obviously, this experience must be super traumatizing for them. But of course, just having that, any house, like you said, locking the doors, but having a surveillance camera or a security pad, something on your front door. In this case, they came in from the top of the house, but just anything, like you have cameras in your house, it just catches footage.
I'll just show you 100 dirham on Amazon, people. It's literally a game changer. And also, you can just see who's coming to your door at any hour of the day. The way you get calls, you get delivery people. It's called eViz. This is not a paid ad, although imagine if it was, it would be so native. And you can just pop. So right now, at my door, live view, there's no one there. However, literally 100 dirham, and it's a game changer in terms of just, you can see at night if someone comes to your door, you can see exactly who it is, and you can actually connect it to a phone answering thing. So I can actually, I can speak right now. So, hey.
But no,
hi
stop
guys.
it.
Goose, are you home?
Stop it.
She's not home. It's fine.
She's not home?
But I'm just saying. It's amazing.
In the middle of the day while we're working, Casey's out on her phone speaking to Goose over the loudspeaker, and Goose is just
Would you speak to your child at home during the day?
That is.
She needs a reminder that her mom is thinking of her. She has anxiety. We've spoken about this.
But yeah, it's such a level up in technology that you
It
can
is.
open the door from your phone. That is insane.
I'm still shook by it. That's why I talk about it all the time. Let's jump into a next story. A woman has won 50K after her Botox procedure went wrong. So a woman who had Botox injected into her nose, she has won a 50K amount after the Botox procedure resulted in her losing her job and her relationship ending. So what should have been a routine procedure resulted in continued headaches and swelling, and despite repeated visits to the clinic, they couldn't undo the damage that had been done. So one visit to the clinic resulted in an emergency visit to the hospital. The problems led to depression, which resulted in the breakdown of her relationship and losing her job, and then she sought 400K compensation. But following a trial, the judge awarded her 50K. They found that the centre was responsible. However, the physician was not familiar with some technical details related to the Botox procedure, and that was according to the National.
That is so scary because the number of women, and men that just go in for Botox these days, it's such a if you go to the salon, you can just get that procedure done as well. But it's scary to have something go wrong and just mess up your whole life in such a domino effect.
But Botox is super common. And so when I get a little bit just here, not in a while.
It's natural. It's natural.
The rest of it's all natural. But it's super common. But at the same time, because it's available in so many clinics, you do need to be sure that the physician is well aware. And I think in this case, I don't think the procedure, it wasn't like a little freezing. It was some Botox into the nose, so I guess like a facial changing thing. And he wasn't aware of some kind of underlying issues that he probably needed to be aware of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you're going for anything, but it's kind of, it is temporary. You know, in terms of, not in this case, but I do think Botox it's not a surgical procedure as though it's going to completely change your face forever. So
yeah, like you said, you're right. Like, I think doctors in this case, as a patient, you would only know this much, right? You would only know what you want, how it would transform you, you would want to know the before and after results. But as a doctor, it's your responsibility to check everything, to I think skin check, to make sure you have no, like you said, underlying conditions and stuff. So in this scenario where it went wrong, I think there are so many reasons that had to be investigated, or just to ensure that this doesn't happen to other patients.
You do really feel for the woman, because I know that whenever you go to a salon or a clinic and you pay for something and it goes wrong, it can lead to it could be seriously upsetting. I remember when we were growing up, going to the hair salon, and you pay a certain amount, which was more than I probably should have been paying for my haircut, and then it was a perfectly fine haircut, by the way, but I'd still be like, I don't look like Jennifer Aniston. Why? I gave them the photo, and then it just has that, because you're paying for a confidence boost, really. You're paying you're paying to
a full makeover.
Yeah, you're paying for something, and you're paying because society has told you that we should look a certain way. So we're buying into something, and when we don't get the desired effect, it shouldn't cause emotional damage, but it 100% does. If I
financial damage, emotional damage,
that's for sure. and we're so used to the amount of money that we spend on salon and whatever it might be, so we think it's fine. But actually, we're paying a lot of money for. We should probably just hail the all natural look. Let's pare it back a bit.
I get it, but it's all about the trust factor in these cases. You are putting your, whole vanity in the hands of someone else. So you just expect a good job out of it. And salons, honestly, are the worst. I just can't. Most of them.
No, you have to research. So Simran has had, if you've watched her Instagram stories, it's been a saga of salon after salon after salon. And she's calling them out when the job is not done. Each new one that you've gone to, your hair looks fabulous, by the way.
I did it myself. This is self-bloat, right?
But each new salon that you go to, are you doing your research?
Yes, I do my research. And you know what? It's just, I'll tell you how it is. These salon ladies are so intimidating. It's you go in and they show you the result you can expect. For example, when I got my hair colored recently. It was supposed to be platinum blonde, not what it is now, which is nowhere
Your
near
whole
blonde.
hair, we were going to do a Kim K.
Streaks. And it's, do you see anything?
Well, you've cut
It's
it all
red.
out at this point, so I don't think me or the viewers can give you a fair
No, it was-
assessment.
These are new streaks that they've done, like just at the ends, and you can't see it. Anyway, so you pay so much, and then it's not what you want, and not what they say you're gonna get, and then at the end you just confront them, and they're just like, "Well, with your hair type, this is the best you're gonna get," and it's just like,
That could have been that should have been a conversation that they should have
Before.
had you before. So
Exactly.
I'm in a lot of Facebook groups where they're predominantly female Facebook groups, and we complain about salon services. It's about finding your person and then sticking with them,
your hair
and
lobster.
then not sharing that person with anyone. So there's no cues. But it's literally like, and especially because I was going to say, if you've moved here and you're new to Dubai, it's like anything. It's like finding a good doctor. It's like finding a good gynecologist. It's like
Right.
finding a good chiropractor. You need to find someone who understands your hair, does a good job, and it can be a painful process. But when you find the one,
Never let them go. Never let them go. Give them a hummus ring.
oh, yes, tell them they're the one. And then,
Make it official.
yeah, make it a fish.
And yes, do gloat about them on your Instagram and do tag Love in Dubai so we're aware as well. Moving on to our next story, the Dubai Comedy Festival kicks off today, and the long-awaited Dubai Comedy Festival is finally starting on this glorious day. And boy, do we have one heck of a lineup for you. Between now and 22nd of May, some of your favorite comedians will be taking over the scene in Dubai and bringing all the LOLs.
This is literally one of our favorite festivals of the year. I'm so excited it's back, and it's an 11-day extravaganza of constant excitement, unforgettable moments, and obviously a whole lot of lols and ruffles. Roll on the floor laughing. The star-studded lineup will include Russell Peters, Veer Das, Joy Coy, Ala El Sheikh, Mohammed Al Hemi, Adi Khalifa, Josh Widdicombe, Shadon Fecht, Shakir Bou Abdallah, Noor Haj, Gad Elama, Bazem Youssef, and last but not least,
Lucio Gola, and they will be touring the city in some of your favorite hotspots, including Coca-Cola Arena, the Agenda, the Theatre, Mall of the Emirates, blah, blah, and more. And long pause, for the first time, the festival will be bringing together 48 international comedians for a comedy bizarre takeover at blah, blah, including amazing food, all the good vibes one could ask for, and endless hours of laughter. Of course, the really cool bit is that each night blah, blah will be curating a menu reflecting the diversity of the comedians and what they have to offer. That is so interesting.
it's cool. Like, they're bringing the best in the game of international comedians from all over the world. Veer Das has made headlines recently, and I got to sit down with him. Such an intelligent,
Young lad. Such a young lad.
no, such an intelligent, interesting guy who literally I was like, are you going to be careful? You know, you're coming to Dubai, you're dealing with a audience from all over the world. So like, you know, the way it's usually comedy steps on some toes, and he was like, no, he was like, not a chance. He was like, I'm going to bring my show with some new pieces, which I cannot wait to bring to Dubai. So if you're a fan of Veer Das, and even if you're not, by the way, jump onto his YouTube. If you love comedy, it's going to be incredible. I love comedy. I think we need more of it in the city, and that's why we support this festival so much. It's 11 days, and it happens every year, and they really bring in some of the greats. Joe Coy is coming as well. It's a massive lineup, and
Legend after legend.
and it's locations across the city. It's not just like one massive arena. It's big and small, which I really like the variety of. So get those tickets.
I cannot wait for Veer Das, honestly. Like, I am such a fan, and he is so funny because, wait, never mind. He's just so funny.
He's just like, check his YouTube. You'll know where she was going with that if you know his comedy. He's so funny. And actually, when we got the opportunity to interview someone was like,
Veer Das, I want that one. But I was like sitting in India.
She's traveling. So.
Do you want to do a joke on this special occasion since we did it last time? I came prepared. Can I start?
Okay, you start, and I'm allowed a 30-second Google. Go.
Okay, cool. Do you know Beethoven?
Yes.
Okay. So why does Beethoven not play with this finger?
Which Beethoven?
The pianist,
Okay.
the musician.
Because he didn't think he could?
That's a good one. That's actually better than mine.
No?
That's not it.
Oh. Okay.
Because it's my finger.
My finger.
That's because it's my finger. Why doesn't he play with this finger?
Ah, that is good. Well done. I'm gonna take some of the credit for that. Okay.
But that was good. Pinky could.
Oh,
That was a
this
good.
is for you and you. What kind of tea is hard to swallow?
Reality. Well,
We're here for the jokes, we're here for the lols. Luckily for you, we're not going to be on stage at Dubai Comedy Festival. They're going to leave that to the professionals. However, Simran got to sit down with an ex-pro.
Josh really calm, and he was so sorry. Was it someone else? It was him, yes. And he was so funny just in the interview and explaining life, explaining all of that. But anyway, we'll also be talking to the director of the Dubai Sharks Rugby League. Dylan Hartley talks about the future of the sport. Now, the rugby scene in Dubai has been flourishing from the very start and will soon do more than ever. With having professional ex-rugby player Dylan Hartley be a part of the community and of course by joining the Dubai Sharks Rugby League as the director of rugby.
Big news.
It is, and Dylan will be joining us on the show.
NFTs, non-fungible tokens. That's what it stands for. Unable to be duplicated, replicated, one of a kind.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Dylan Hartley. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Thanks for having me. It's good to be here. It's a nice story. It's a good, positive story.
Smashy. Of course. So, are you in Dubai right now?
I am, and I've come from the UK, so like the heat. Everyone's telling me how nice the weather is at the moment, but I'm struggling with the heat. But before I know what I've signed up to, I will acclimatize, I hope.
We were told you love Dubai's summer breeze. So is that true?
Yeah, but I just haven't seen the breeze yet.
Oh, what are you saying? Today is such a breezy day, in fact.
Morning, guys. Dubai
I've been hiding. It's quite funny because I've been hiding in all the air-conditioned sort of buildings I can find. In the UK, for about 4 months, we dive from like pub to pub, fire to fire.
Morning, guys. Dubai is back. We have all the latest on
heating to heating, whereas here I'm just dodging from air conditioning to air conditioning. But no, it's very good to be here. It's really exciting for me and my family, I suppose, to get to a point where this is all becoming very real for everyone.
Okay, I mean, yeah, that's true. But so let's start off talking about rugby. And can you tell us a little bit more about your involvement with Dubai's rugby community?
Well, do you know what? I haven't had an involvement. Obviously, a quick background. I played 16 years professionally in the UK. I played for England for about a decade. I played 97 times. So I had quite a long career. And had plenty of ups and downs in it. It was a very interesting career. And I suppose the hardest thing when you retire, which I did a couple of years ago, is transitioning to Civvy Street and going and finding a real job. Because if anything, by the end of your career, you're so qualified in what you do, but you leave all that knowledge and experience behind. Whereas the stars kind of aligned. The Dubai Sharks and myself had some conversations, and I suppose now as director of rugby, who oversees the whole rugby program, I have an opportunity to use, you know, it's probably 20 years of rugby experience and knowledge that I can share with the Dubai Sharks and help them or help us grow our club together.
So for those who don't know about the Dubai Sharks rugby team, could you elaborate more on that?
Well, we have aspirations. We're not a premier rugby club. We do not play in the Premiership in our men's division, but we have a robust and thriving junior section. And I think long term, we would love to compete on the biggest stage in the UAE, in the Premiership. But whilst we have a budding sort of youth program, boys, girls, our focus is to work on that youth section and retain all those numbers and long term have a thriving sort of Premiership side. So that's the rugby. On the other side of it, rugby is a lovely sport. It's also a very unique culture, and part of that culture is the social. It's very social. It's very social. And the Sharks, whilst we take our rugby seriously, the social side and the culture around socializing is very strong. So it's something that we hang our hat on, so to speak.
So at what age did you start playing rugby or start playing sports?
I was born in New Zealand, so I didn't have an opportunity to do anything other than rugby. It's almost like religion there. You know, from as young as I can remember, I owned a rugby ball, and but you know, from 5 years old, I can remember running around with a ball, and yeah, it's
5
just
years of age.
yeah, it's what I do, and my two children, I have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old. They know what Dad used to do, and they both think they're rugby players as well.
That's so cute. So for you, it's always been rugby, not soccer, not football. No.
No, I had a good balance to my sporting career. I think the way I was probably built suited rugby, and certainly professional rugby. It's a unique game because it's for all shapes, sizes, and abilities. You know, there's sort of a role for someone within the team. So it's always been that for me. I might surprise you, but at 115 kilos, I'm quite a nimble badminton player as well. So no, I did everything from water polo to hiking to badminton to rugby at school. So it just, you know, as I got older, I suppose my aspirations were to play rugby, and I found my way there.
So, I mean, rugby is a full contact sport, and I'm sure you've been injured. So did you ever have that PTSD after facing some really traumatic injury? Like, I don't want to go back on that field. It's scary. Did you ever have that experience? Like a really bad
I think if I dropped you into that arena, you may be nervous or scared, but when you do something every day, you're almost conditioned to be in that sort of collision-based or contact-based sport. And it's just like kids, you know, with our youth program, we don't just throw them out there and say, you know, go tackle each other and expect them. We build them up gradually. We give them the toolkit to be able to tackle properly and carry the ball properly and look after themselves. So it's one of those things from a young age you become used to, and you actually thrive on that element. And that's what makes rugby so unique. And that's why it ticks so many boxes for people, because of the contact element. There's not many sports you can do what you do in rugby. So it's appealing to a lot of people. But for me, there's nothing and I mean, my mother would probably say my ears, I have what we call cauliflower ears.
Oh, that's cute. That you have cauliflowers. So have you injured your ears a lot?
Yeah, they're just, you know, they've gone hard basically. And I threaten my kids with it. I say, if they don't eat the vegetables, you'll get cauliflower ears. So there you go.
So as a director, what is your role exactly?
So I have quite a broad sort of role. There's the obvious sort of role in coaching. So helping from right down in our minis all the way up to our senior teams. But I think also coaching coaches, help educating the coaches. I've worked under some some good and some brilliant coaches over the years, and also keeping up to date. You know, the game's always evolving. Like every sport in the world is always evolving. People are finding out new ways to win. And rugby traditionally is coached in a very traditional way. I visit a lot of clubs, so I'd like to, I suppose, help and educate our coaching staff at the club to make sure we're coaching our kids and our seniors good things. Equally, you know, I've played a long time, so my network within the game, trying to use that and any sort of introductions or friendships that we can have, you know, with the Sharks. Just make it's a very sort of broad role. It's not one thing or this, but it's I suppose a very interesting one. And I've got to spread my time and my energy, so there's lots for me to do.
So why Dubai? How come you felt like Dubai was the right next move for you?
Like I've always visited here on holiday. And I understand I'm not coming to live on holiday because you can romanticize these things, you know. But I have a young family. I have lived in the same place for 17 years, and I want change. I want to experience something new, a different culture. I want to, I suppose, transition to the working world. You know, I play professional sport. I need to move on from that. So I suppose the relationship with the Sharks and my other job with Access Hire, who have made this sort of trip or this experience available to me and my family, gives me an opportunity to keep one foot in rugby and the other foot in the real world. I call it the working world.
Yeah. Okay, so that's the whole idea behind it. But could you tell me, how do you feel about the rugby community in Dubai? Do you think it's thriving, or do you think it needs a little bit more of a push and raise more awareness around the sport? Or do you think it's got a lot of people who want to get involved and it's already something that it's a well-known sport out here?
I think wherever you are in the world, rugby, the community within rugby is always a good community. There are always good people involved. I've been to a lot of environments, clubs, teams, communities around the world, and 99% of them are all the same. They've got the same people, same good values, the same sort of volunteers, people that kind of run the club and keep it going. So Dubai is no different to anywhere else in the world, and it's a thriving community here. It's not easy. Rugby is not everyone has its challenges. Every club has its challenges, but there's good people involved and people love the sport. And I think that to answer your question, sorry, it took a long time to do it. Every sport needs to keep pushing forward. You can't just sit still. You can't become comfortable with it. You need to find ways to attract new members, find new ways to engage the kids, the youth, and you need to retain good coaches or have good coaches involved, because the product or the experience needs to keep people coming back and bringing more people with them. So that's why for us, looking after our youth program, if we look after our youth program, our senior program will thrive in years to come. And if we look after the social side, that unique sort of culture I talked about, people will keep coming back as well. And I suppose that the other sort of, this is happening a lot in the UK, is women's teams are popping up. So inclusivity, rugby's for everyone. And I suppose the next step, mixed ability teams and all sorts. So the Sharks, we take that very seriously.
Oh, that's amazing. Like encouraging women to also join the sport.
Well, what am I supposed to say to my daughter when she says, Dad, I want to play rugby?
Well, yeah, true. So now tell me, if you have if you have a student if you had to convince a student to choose rugby over soccer, how would you do that?
I wouldn't say no.
If one of the students were confused, okay, like they had to choose one for the after curriculum and okay, this is, I can only pursue one sport. And as someone who is an enthusiast, a rugby enthusiast, how would you convince them to choose rugby over soccer? Are there a few points that are better or more convincing?
No.
No.
I'd say to them, go join a football team and I'll see you in 6 months' time.
Oh, okay. That much
No,
difference.
no, that's not fair. I mean, again, I I am a champion for rugby. I'm a champion for all sport. I think if kids play sport, I think a team sport is a special thing. And if we're going to talk about rugby, and I don't want to compare because I didn't play football professionally or soccer professionally or at any level. So being involved with a team, being involved with a rugby team is a unique experience. It's the sport is the sport, but everything else, the values that you learn with the game, the camaraderies, the friendships, the off the field stuff is what I love about the game the most. And that's what got me involved with the game to start with, was my peer group, my friends. I enjoyed going because of the people I was going with. And, you know, so be it, I kind of pursued a career in it. But when I look back at my career, it was the people, the friendships, the camaraderies that I made that I hold dear. So that would be my thing about rugby.
That's so sweet to hear. Now, to wrap it all up, what does the future of rugby look like in Dubai, according to you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know enough about it. Someone in the background saying that the future's the Dubai Sharks, but I think
Why
the
not? It could
future.
well quite possibly be.
No, because you know we're realistic with our ambitions. You know, we have ambitions for our future, and we obviously need good competition to play against. So we sit within that, and the future for the Dubai Sharks is having a thriving mini program or junior program and a competitive. I want to say winning. I want a winning Premiership side as well. At some stage, that could be a decade. It could be
It will
5 years. It could be
manifest
next year. Who
that. It will
knows?
definitely manifest that. But where do you guys compete?
Where
Yeah.
Sports City is our home, and our clubhouse is Arabian Ranches Golf Club / Rugby Club.
Okay. So, like, I mean, what competitions do you guys partake in?
It's varied because our men. I mean, we've got men's team, women's teams. We play sevens tournaments. We play every sort of age group from under fours up to